Hey everybody, Carl from ToyWiz here, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Well, not different overall, just different from the past couple of weeks. The last 3 weeks I spent doing quite a bit of painting, so this week I'm going to go back to assembling, just to switch things up again. But before I hop right into it, let me first show you the final product of what I did last week. Last week I had painted, if you had watched, the Cave-in Shrike figure from Warhammer 40K, and this is how he came out. Yeah, I know there are a couple places you can see, like on the shoulder pad there, where there's the contrast paints didn't fully take. I just need to put another little layer on there. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. So today, the plan is to go through this box of Thousand Suns. As I've said before, hi, Dr. Red, how's it going? A lot of the times when I pick up any figures, I go just for looks. And these guys I thought were pretty badass looking. Plus I needed a lot more miniatures because I was running out of stuff to use for the stream. So I picked up this full box here. There is a really nice one coming out soon. I believe the release is next week. It's one of the Necron figures, the Catan Shard of the Void Dragon. And that one I'm really excited for, and I should have. So next week I might be assembling that one, if I'm able to get a hold of it in time. We'll see. I think the actual release is Saturday, so it might be a bit touch and go. Just so you are aware, in case you haven't heard before, ToyWiz is open Sundays through Thursdays from noon until 6 p.m. and Fridays and Saturdays from noon until 8 p.m. I'm going to be returning there shortly. In about 2 weeks, I'll be there on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the weekend of Halloween and the weekend after that, when we're going to have some artists coming by to do some signings, some sketching, selling some prints, because we got them to do some exclusive variant covers for us for the new upcoming book, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Last Ronin. And then after that, I'm going to be around Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays just to get all the comic stuff settled, as I'm still recovering before I return full-time. But I'll be back there full-time soon. In the meantime, though, today I believe you'll be able to find, I know you'll be able to find Lewis and Chris there. I'm not sure which of our part-timers will be joining them, but feel free to stop on by there, tell them I said hi. Okay, enough of me blabbing on and on. Let's open up this box. So this one's got 21 figures in it. We've got the Rubric Marines and their Zangors, as well as one named figure. That one being Ahriman, the arch-sorcerer of Tzeentch. Now, I'm not going to do the entire box today, because that is just going to take way too long. So I am going to, I'll do a couple of them. We'll see how the time looks and how many I can get to. But I think the one I want to start off with is Ahriman himself. That fella right there in the front. So we've got a ton of bases. I'm assuming 21, and it looks like they're all the same size. And then we've got a whole heck of a lot of sprues, and aha, this one comes with some decals. Now that's pretty cool. Although I'm pretty sure these are going to be saving for after I get these guys painted. So let's keep those in here. Aha. Another base. This is the probably one for Ahriman, since he's a bit bigger than the others, so that means there would be 20 in that other one there. Okay. Let's put the box over on the side for now. Let's get to work. So I believe, yep, Ahriman is the first one listed in the manual here. So we might as well begin at the very beginning. From what I understand, it's a very good place to start. And I'm guessing if this one up top here, just from looking at the sprue, this is probably the one that's going to have all of Ahriman's pieces. So I'm going to put these guys back in the box for now, and we'll get back to that shortly. Okay, so it looks like we begin with his legs and his robe. So we're going to need pieces 7, 8, and 9. And looking at the sprue here, I see 8, I see 7, and I'm sure 9 is around here somewhere. If not, then I'll have to go digging a bit through the other sprues. Nope, there's 9. Okay, so we got our old clippers out, also known as die-cast pliers, or die-cut pliers, I should say. A number of different names for them. And remember, when you're cutting, you always want to make sure the flat end of the pliers is up against your piece, and the open end is facing towards the little peg attaching it to the sprue. This way you get as clean a cut as possible up against the piece you're using. So that means there's going to be less that you're going to have to file off to make it nice and clean. Regardless though, you're still going to end up getting little bits of the plastic that didn't, quite get exactly cut evenly. So that's why we have a file. So let's just smooth that on out there. Don't worry too much if you still see the little bits of it. As long as it feels, smooth, that should be fine. And once you paint it, or when you prime it and paint it, that should end up taking care of that. Okay, that was number 8. Next we'll grab number 7. Ooh, they attached this piece with 2 things here. And would you look at that, I am now getting a bunch of spam in the chat. Well, that's unfortunate. Dr. Red, I'm going to need your assistance with how do I go about deleting those in just a moment, because I'm still fairly new to Twitch as a platform. Hope you're still around. Oh, nope, I already cut that one. They're really making this one difficult. Wow. Lots of places this one's attached here. Yeah, I just noticed them. Since you're more familiar with the Twitch platform and the Twitch software than I am, mind giving me some direction as to where I go to delete those messages, or give me Model Ben. Works for me. If you're watching this on Facebook, at the moment we're getting some spam showing up in the Twitch chat. So people just posting about actually every single one of them, just random things on websites that they are just promoting, and overall just making this look kind of messy. It should give you an option to ban them. Okay. Thankfully, Dr. Red MD here, good friend of mine, has done quite a bit of streaming. He's usually doing Fallout 76, if I recall correctly. So he's giving me some assistance with getting rid of these spammers. Incidentally, if you happen to enjoy video games, specifically Fallout 76, check out Dr. Red MD's channel. He's usually on weekdays, I believe, from noon till 6. Doing, nuke runs and stuff like that. I have to go for now. Good look for... Oh, well, thank you very much, Dr. Red. Thanks for popping on in. I appreciate it. And anyone else who happens to pop on by here, feel free to, say hi in the chat. Just don't be posting, random, come to this site and make money by selling things on blah, 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 whatever. Okay. Here we are almost 10 minutes in, and for the most part, we've just kind of been dealing with spammers so far. Almost have this first... Here we go. Okay. So we have parts 7, 8, and 9 out. And... looks pretty flat. So let's attach these. So it looks like first... Part 9 here, which is, it kind of goes up into his torso, is going to go Oh, would you look at that? They actually have a little peg here that's supposed to fit on. So this is going to go together like, come on, get in there. Easy does it. Like that. It actually does, well, it definitely doesn't hold itself together, so I'm going to have to use some of the plastic glue, but this one looks like it has some good indications of where everything's supposed to fit together. So we're going to take the plastic glue, just take a little bit of it. You never want to do too much with the plastic glue, or any glue, because then you're just going to get tons all over the place. So we're going to just get a little bit on the pin, and then once it's out there, we can even just, without adding any more, just kind of push it down to the rest of this edge here. And then we're going to attach this part. And there's a tiny little dot, you're not going to be able to see it from there, that fits right into a little peg that's on the legs there. So it goes together perfectly. And because it's right along the kind of like little, not really a belt, I guess kind of an extra strap there since this belt's above it, you can't even see really where they attach. Next we're going to take the back part here, and we got a little nub there and a divot there, and we have a nub and a divot here, so we'll see exactly where they go together. Much better than when I was putting together those Kill Team guys, and there was no indication of how the pieces were supposed to fit. Darn it. You know, I had it for a second there. Okay, so yes, this is going to go right on there. So let's grab some of the plastic glue again and get a little bit out, just a tiny bit. Now, if you haven't assembled any miniatures before, or you're just kind of getting into it, or you're new to it, you may wonder what the difference is between plastic glue and super glue, and if it really matters in the end if you use one over the other. Well, the thing with plastic glue is it's not just an adhesive. I mean, it is an adhesive, but it's not like, regular glue where it's going to just kind of solidify and it's the glue itself that holds, two pieces together. The plastic glue actually causes the plastic to melt a little bit, which makes it completely fuse with the other piece. It actually melts the two pieces of plastic together to form a much more solid bond. So if you're putting together, plastic miniatures instead of metal ones, you're definitely better off using the actual plastic glue instead of the super glue. Super glue will still work, but the plastic glue will give you a much better join. Okay, it looks like next we're going to be putting together, is that a book, I think? It looks like he's got a book there. Those are parts 11 and 12. Oh, goodness. Plastic dust all over my desk. This fellow's pretty detailed, so I know the rest of the fellows that we've got here, and as you saw when I first opened up the box, there's plenty of material to work with. But the rest of these guys, probably going to be a little bit easier to put together. I decided to go with the tougher one first, partially because he's a lot cooler looking. And we'll get to the others at some point in time. Plenty of material to keep this stream going for quite a while before I have to buy another set. But I'll still be getting another set anyway next week when the Catan Shard of the Void Dragon comes out. Again, just because that one looks really freaking cool. Okay, so we've got, looks like this piece with the, oh, okay, I had it backwards. So there's a tiny square divot there, which you can kind of see. And you got this one's a little bit more visible, a square peg here. So those are the two sides that'll fit together. Just like that. So, we've got a lot of surface area to cover here, but again, you don't want to go too crazy with the super glue, so just put a tiny bit on there and just spread it around. You can use the pin on the end of the glue container and just kind of move it around there. Again, you don't want to put any excess glue on there because you'll end up getting it kind of like spilling out the sides and it'll just look even messier, and you want these to look nice. There you go. Now this part, oh wow, they really went crazy with this. So there's a tiny triangular divot right next to my fingernail there. You can kind of see a shadow there. Unfortunately, the focal length on this webcam isn't the best, but it fits with a little triangular peg right on his leg there. So that is where the book is going to end up fitting in. This also might be a good point to also mention how, and I mentioned this in my my painting videos, some people actually prefer to paint the items while they're still on the sprues and then assemble everything. Okay, you're just going to hold that in place for a little bit, let the fusion work. And there you go, nice and easy. Okay, now we've got his other side, and it looks like he's got a holster for a pistol. And actually this is nice because it's just in one piece. I don't need to, you know, put a front and back together on it like I just did with the book. And let's see if this one also has a indicator of where it's supposed to go. Okay, so, oh my. So this one goes, let's see, according to the picture, it's facing like this, and it goes right over here, just directly on the belt. Oh, hold on. It's going backwards. Okay, so it goes, sorry, this direction, and okay, there is a little, wow, they really thought of everything with this one. There's a really tiny rectangular impression there, which fits with what looks like a belt buckle there, but it's actually the place that you attach this gun. So this is going to go in here. There we go. And again, just, oh, oops. Got free there. Hold it into place while it fuses. And there we go. This is going to be a crazy one when it comes time to paint him. Alrighty then. Now I guess we move on to his, well, we're not even getting to his the full torso. Well, we have the front of his torso set up already, but now we've got his back and his cape, and there's a lot to it. So we begin with this gigantic part here, which should be number, yep, 13. Snip, snip, snipperoo. I think I might have taken a little off the corner of the cape there. It's kind of the tough one when you're dealing with some of the larger sections where they're joined to the sprue. But again, those white marks will end up coming off in the once you, well, not coming off, but they'll be nice and covered once we get the it primed and painted. And actually, I don't think that should be too much of a mistake because it looks like we do attach another piece of the cape to the side there. Now, why on earth they decided to split it up that way, I couldn't tell you, but they did. So next we have to grab number 15 over here. And we'll snip that. And over there. Again, give it a little filing. And then it looks like this. Based on the indentation over here, is going to fit right in there. Oops, as I dropped the other piece of it into my crotch. Okay, so that is going to go right over here. So yeah, actually it does end up making a full join. Let's get the old plastic glue back. And put a little on there. And then we attach that right over there. Oops, I got a little extra glue on the end there, so just take that off with my finger and wash my hands thoroughly later. Okay, there we go. Next we have piece number 14. And this looks like, this is the back of his cowl, which goes around his head. And this is going to attach onto the back here. Let's see. Actually, maybe it doesn't go in the... Nope, it doesn't go in the back. It goes in the front. Like that. So, yeah, you can actually see where it fits in. Right in there. So I'll get the glue back out. A little bit on in there. And just push this into place. Just get a little more around the edges there. Not too much, but definitely need a little more. And just let that sit and fuse while we grab part number 22. 20, 21, 23. Hey, there's 22 right over here. Alrighty. It looks like this is going to fit right in on that indented bit right over here. Oops, have it upside down. Yep, and it's rounded so it just sits in there perfectly. So let's glue that on up. Now remember, we have an enormous selection of Warhammer items at the store. Both 40K and Age of Sigmar, as well as all of the other sub-games. So we've got Adeptus Titanicus, we've got Kill Team, we've got Warcry, we've got Necromunda, Underworlds, Blood Bowl, and anything we don't have physically in the store, we can certainly order for you. So if there's ever anything you're looking for, talk to Lewis. He's our main Warhammer expert, handles all of our ordering. and he can absolutely get whatever you need. And if you hop onto Facebook, well, we can go to facebook.com dash ToyWiz Collectibles. I cannot speak today. I can't even pronounce the name of my own store. Facebook.com/ToyWiz Collectibles. You can find a link there, but there's the ToyWiz Tabletop Club. Do a search for ToyWiz Tabletop Club, TTC, and you can find where our Warhammer crew, or any miniatures gaming crew, all hang out and set up games and everything. And every week, when the new releases are announced, Lewis will make a post there, so you can, contact him and be like, hey, look, this thing that's coming out next Saturday, I want to make sure I get it. Make sure you order one for me, and we'll get it for you. Such as, like I mentioned earlier, next week we've got the Catan Shard of the Void Dragon coming out, so if you're a Necron fan, or if you're just a fan of really, really amazingly cool-looking figures, that's definitely one to keep an eye out for. It's a little on the more expensive side. Has an MSRP of $110, I believe, but one of the nice things that we do is Games Workshop allows retailers to offer a discount of up to 15% off the MSRP. So we go with the minimum allowed pricing that Games Workshop will let us do. So it's not going to be quite that expensive to get it, but I mean, the figure is enormous and it looks gorgeous, and it's well worth whatever you end up paying for it as I knock over my Kievan Shrike on my monitor stand. Alrighty. Yeah, that one is the Catan Shard of the Void Dragon. That's one I've been, gushing over ever since they leaked the initial images of it months ago. And the other day when Lewis posted up in the group that it was coming out, I sent him a text and I just asked him, do you need me to tell you that I need that Catan Shard of the Void Dragon? He just said, of course not. Alrighty. So this is all together, and it looks like the next step is going to be attaching it to the front of the torso. I just want to make sure from the image here that the other pieces are going to be able to, that nothing else is going to be like underneath it, that I'm going to hose myself by putting this on first, but it looks like we should be fine. So the other really nice thing about I should say the nice thing about these instructions, let's hold this up here so you can see that. The blue pieces are the parts that you're adding on to what you've already worked with, and then the yellow shows you where you should be putting the glue to properly connect everything. Some of these I've done, some of these I've, kind of just put where I wanted to. Alrighty, so here we're going to put a little on the shoulder here, and we'll do the other side as well. I don't even know if it's necessarily where to put the glue or where the actual joint is going to be on it. And boom, there we go. Looking good so far. Alrighty, still have a lot more to do though. We're maybe about a third of the way there. So I think next it looks like we're going to be doing his left arm and his head. So I guess we'll do his head first. It's going to be piece number 25, which is right over here. So we snip there. Let's see, okay, yeah. Snip there. Sometimes it's hard to tell exactly where you're supposed to make the cut off the sprue, so sometimes it helps to kind of just double check by looking at the pictures and the instructions. And then, oh, that was mean. They attached to the horns of his helmet there in two different places right next to each other. Okay. I think we're actually pretty good there. Yeah, there should be a little peg there that'll fit into the little hole right there on his neck. So let's drop a little plastic glue in that recess. Oops, they put a little too much in there. And we're going to stick this right on in there. And hold it for just a moment so it'll fuse. And there we go. All right, let's do his arm now. So it looks like first we need parts 19 is just his hand, and then 18 appears to be his forearm. This is the part where it's going to get really, really tense, because these parts are tiny. Okay. Okay, and the hand is off. Okay, it doesn't look like I have too much extra plastic on there. Maybe just a little. Let's see if I can even file this one down without filing my finger. I want to file his finger, not mine. Oops. Okay, and that's going to go into part number 18, which is this big one right over here. Okay, well, that wasn't too bad. So now we have a really tiny peg on the end of the hand there, which I can barely see, so I know you're not going to be able to see it there, which is going to go into a very small indentation right over on the end of his wrist over here. You know, before I get the glue into place, let me just make sure I can see exactly how it's supposed to fit in. Oops. This is the part of the stream where you're going to get to see me make a mistake and do something horrible. Okay, so it looks like this little like jagged bit of, I don't know if that's supposed to be energy or like a lightning bolt or if it's cloth or whatever, but that kind of like cups where the hand goes. So this is going to go together like, there we go. Oops. Okay, I can see it. And once I get the glue there, it'll, ooh, okay, do not want to lose that, it's tiny. You know what, let's just go right on in, because I had it there for a second. This is one where I'm going to have to rely on the plastic glue to do most of the work for me. Yep. There we go. Now that was just mean. Okay. Now before we attach the arm to the body, there are a couple more pieces we need. And of course they're going to be really tiny. So first we've got number 20, which is right up here. It looks like a bit of an armor piece. It looks maybe like it's a shoulder pad. So 1 and 2 points of snipping. We got a big old tab back there, which looks like it's supposed to fit probably in that big hole right there. Let's see. Okay, first let's make sure I'm facing the right direction. So it looks like the... Oh, okay, I see. It's supposed to attach to a different piece on the other side. That's really mean. So with the hand set like this, part 20, supposed to go... Okay, so this is supposed to sit in the top part? Am I facing this the wrong way? Somebody tells me I got this going the wrong direction. Something tells me that something tells me it was wrong. Okay. Now, one of the things about the GW figures is usually at some point get to a point where it does kind of like snap, not necessarily into place, but at least to give you enough of an indication where it's supposed to go. And I think, you know what? I think I did have it the wrong direction. Nope. So once I'm able to find that part out, then I should be able to move on. Okay, so it looks like this is supposed to sit kind of on there, but this is a tough one. Okay. It's always the fun part about doing these. I inevitably will get to a point where I can't figure out GW's instructions, and it just gets messy. So, oh, you gotta be kidding me. I think it's actually supposed to sit on top like that. With the peg actually going on the side. Nope. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the other piece off, number 21, and see if I can try to finagle the two together instead of doing them separately. So the two pieces need to go together to make like a full, looks like a goat skull image on the shoulder piece. Except they don't seem to want to do that either. Oh no, okay. I think that's part of the problem. I still have a little extra plastic there from the sprue. Let's file that down, make sure that's nice and flat. Okay, that's a little bit better. So yeah, the two pieces go together like that. So if I just hold the two together, maybe that'll help me position it on the arm there. Okay. And then this will fit just like that. Okay, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to attach these two pieces together so they sit in here a little bit better. Because this by itself doesn't seem to want to sit too nicely in that little dent where it's supposed to until I get the entire thing together. So we're going to go, and yet now it's working just fine. Son of a gun. Another case where sometimes you got to let the plastic glue do the job for you. Just trust that it'll all come together. Yep. That was just mean. And we'll put some plastic glue on the edge here so we can get the other half of the shoulder piece to connect. And there we have it. That took a little bit longer than it should have. So now that we have this whole arm together, we have this little gap there, and we got a little peg here on the shoulder, so that's how that is going to fit into place. So we're going to put the plastic glue right here on the part that's sticking out. Oops, a little too much. And we'll stick that into place. Almost had it. There we go. Oops, get on there. There we go. And we'll hold it in place until it fuses. Yeah, with a piece like this, I can definitely see why people would want to, prime the sprue and paint it on the sprue first before connecting everything, because this is going to leave so many gaps, so many nooks and crannies. I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to get the paintbrush through at some point. Okay, other arm seems a little more simplistic. Two pieces, 23 and 24. So this one looks like we've got the shoulder pad all assembled already. It's going to make things a little bit easier. 1, 2, and 3 snips. There we go. And that was piece number 23. Now in 24 is his staff and his hand holding it. Some other weird things dangling off of it. I don't want to think about what those might be. And that appears to be like a raven skull. There we go. Okay. So we've got a little bit of a peg there. And the question is, where is that supposed to fit over here? So we have the gap here where it attaches to the shoulder. So the peg, here we are, that tiny little divot right there. And I'll just spin it around a little bit until, there we are, until it feels like it's supposed to fit. And then we'll know how it goes. Just spin it right round, baby, right round like a record, baby. Right round, round, round. And we'll get the plastic glue on in there. And again, just spin it around until it sits. Thankfully, the plastic glue dries or solidifies very quickly. Okay. I'm going to put a little more plastic glue on this peg over here on his shoulder. And pop this into place. Oops, nope, wrong way. Definitely should have, oh, there we are. I probably should have tested it first before putting the glue on there. And there we have him. Now it's time to start working on his base. All about that base. About that base. And so first we're going to get the little round part here out. We're going to stick a couple of, looks almost like flames or something onto it. So we need parts 1, 3, and 2. Okay, actually 1 and 3, the flames need to attach to each other first. So let's grab those. And while I'm cutting those out, to people who are big fans of the 40K lore, this past Wednesday, Marvel's first Warhammer 40K comic book came out. Their first miniseries, which I believe is 4 parts long. Might be 5 though, so don't quote me on that. But it's focusing on the history of Marneus Calgar. It's written by Kieran Gillen, who is a phenomenal writer. He's done a lot of stuff with Marvel before, as well as a bunch of indie stuff. Most recently, he had done Wicked and the Divine for over at Image. With Marvel, he did Young Avengers. This might have been the 3rd volume, actually. After Alan Heinberg and Jimmy Chung had done their run, he had picked it up and added America Chavez to the team. But he has been a Warhammer player for a long time and has so thoroughly steeped himself in the lore and everything about it. So he's really like the perfect person that Marvel could have gotten to oversee their line. Oh, sorry, I'm looking for 1 and 3, not 1 and 2. And the plan is, once the Marneus Calgar miniseries is done, there are going to be a bunch of other miniseries that are out there. And even though Gillen will not be necessarily writing them all, I'm sure he'll be writing at least a few more of them. He's going to be kind of caretaking the line, or curating, I think is what the term they tend to use. Kind of like how Jonathan Hickman is currently curating the X-Men books. He has the overall plot line in place and knows where the lore is going to be going for it. And he just kind of oversees the other writers on it. So that's what Gillen is going to be doing with the Warhammer books for Marvel. And it's nice that they went and, I mean, aside from grabbing a good writer, I mean, his stuff on Darth Vader with, he created, what was the character's name? Dr. Aphra in his Darth Vader run. Books like Phonogram, Wicked and Divine are phenomenal. So they got a darn good writer, but they got a writer also who is a fan and knows the lore and will do it justice. And of course, since comics are a visual medium, you certainly can't forget the artists. And in this case, the artist on the book is Jason Burrows, spelled Jacen. And back when Marvel was first bought out by Disney, I know I told the story last week, so if you watched last week's stream, you'll be hearing it again, but I'm going to say it anyway. Back when Marvel was first purchased by Disney, there was some concern that they'd have to tone down some of their output, make sure it was, family friendly, and everyone was like, oh great, we're going to be seeing, Wolverine teaming up with Mickey Mouse, and it's going to completely destroy everything, and everything's all ruined forever, because you can't just dislike something or disagree with something. It always has to be the best thing or the worst thing ever. Jason Burrows is responsible for a book called The Crossed. It was written by Garth Ennis, who had done Punisher Max with Marvel. He wrote The Boys. He's done a whole bunch of stuff, and The Crossed was such a dark, twisted, really just violent and nasty series. And I mean that, by nasty, I don't mean. I'm just saying it can be uncomfortable to read sometimes. It's really just you read it and it's like, wow, I need to take a shower after that because I just feel dirty. Again, not in a bad way necessarily, just that it is very dark and twisted. If you like a lot of gore and sexual violence and just with a sense of humor to it, it's definitely a series worth checking out, but not one for the kiddies. And his ability to draw that kind of material definitely helps when you have big war scenes going on and characters that are just blowing each other's brains out and armies just clashing and limbs flying and fun for the whole family kind of stuff. As I'm reminded now of the Weird Al Yankovic song, Nature Trail to Hell in 3D. So bring the kids along. It's good, clean family fun. What have you got to lose? If you like the 6 o'clock news, then you'll love Nature Trail to Hell in 3D. Okay, that looks like it came out pretty well. Next, we're going to grab a larger piece right over here, number 6. That's cool. Oops. Looks like a bunch of the units in this army are called scarabs, and they actually have like an image of a scarab indented in the runic tracings on this base. Okay, file down those little extra bits of plastic there, and I'm just going to figure out how these two pieces attach. And it looks like, again, thankfully the pictures we got there, we got a little bit of a teardrop-shaped indentation on the base there, and then a rounder one there. So it looks like these are going to fit into those holes. We can put a little plastic glue on in the edges here so they can fit where they're supposed to go there. And it looks like just all around the middle. So, okay, and now we know for a fact that the yellow doesn't just show where they join, but it is an indication of where you're supposed to put the plastic glue. And since it just shows it going around the edges here, even GW is like, don't go too crazy with this stuff. Okay. And that fits right on in there. Let's give it a little time to sit. Okay. Next we have, it's asking me for number 2 again. I already used number 2. Something tells me that 2 is supposed to be a 4, because we only have 2 pieces, well, a couple others. So we still have 26 over on the side there, which, do we even see where 26 is supposed to go on this? Did I miss something? Oh, well, we'll come back to it later. But number 4 here looks more like the number 2 over here, so I think that was a misprint on their part. So, let's grab the clippers. we'll take off part 4 over here. Snap, there we go. And then that's going to attach to number... Nope, it goes just by itself. So we've got, let's see. Looks like it's supposed to fit over this little piece here. Yep, there's a very tiny rectangular tab there and a very tiny rectangular slot over here. So it does show you exactly where it's supposed to go there. That's just mean. Okay. There we go. As always, don't want to get too much plastic glue in there, which I did. But I'm pretty sure that's where it's going to actually attach to the base, so I'm not overly concerned about this part. And then we have part number 5 over here. So the only piece that's left on here is number 26, which I think we have to go back and figure out where that goes. Aha. Okay, I see where it goes. And it's labeled as 28 on the illustration. So, as they say, nobody's perfect. Okay, so from the image, it looks like the big gap down here is supposed to be on top. And this should attach... Oh boy, this is a... Oh, okay. There's a very tiny circular indentation on this. And a very tiny circular peg over here. So I believe this is supposed to attach, maybe not. Definitely seems like it's supposed to attach to, which is already coming off. I should have put some more plastic glue on there. Let me see if I can just fit a little extra in there. Oops. Okay. Again, that might have been a little too much. I put it in the wrong place too. Okay, that is really just a mess. Okay, so this is the part that's supposed to stick onto the base. It looks like it's actually supposed to stick out a bit further from the other parts there. So the glue goes all in here. Huh, okay. And then these parts here, there's two little divots there, which connect to the base over here. So that'll put, oh wow, that was close. That'll fit everything all together in one place, and that should hopefully also serve to reinforce the other side of that one. My goodness, this is horrible. Okay. Almost. Okay, so after all that, I think I finally got it all together. All for stuff that's going to be on the base. Go figure. Alrighty then. So next we attach Ahriman himself to this part of the base. And it looks like I may have, yep, on one of his feet, he was supposed to have another little peg, but I filed it down thinking it was supposed to be part of the, thing it was part of the sprue. So, it'll still work though. So we're going to put a little plastic glue on both these little divots here. It's funny, they do such a great job of, all this detail on his base. And then part of it is just, like, the scarab particularly right in the middle is going to get covered up by where Ahriman himself is standing. It's funny, they only tell you to put those two little bits of plastic glue on it, but that is not going to hold him in place. So let's get a little more on his feet here. Just a little bit. Because we don't want to go too crazy. Again, you don't want just gooey plastic glue all over the place. And we'll just let him sit there for a moment. Darn it. And I'll just hold them in place until that fuses. Okay, I think we should be all right. And here we are. Look at that. Doesn't that look gorgeous? Visible even on this webcam. So now, and now comes the really tough part. Oh shoot, he's coming off again. Part of me wants to put some plastic glue on his cape back there, but or his the robes rather, not the cape. The cape's already billowing out further, but don't want to, you know, those little bits on the bottom there. Definitely don't want that kind of like just sticking. Okay. Now we have to attach all this to the 40mm base. Which should fit flat on all that stuff on the bottom. Now they say just put a tiny bit to attach them, but considering how fragile this whole section is, I want to make sure that all these are just sticking right on there. Okay, now we want them to be centered over it, so we're going to put this a little more towards the back. And we'll just hold them in place there until it all connects. Okay, looks like it's connected. And he's still loose up there, but he's attached to the top base. I think I do want to put just a little more of the plastic glue under there just to try to hold him in. A little bead of it on there. A little more on his shoes and the front of his cape. And I think we can call that assembled. And that, oh, that's right, I still have to I forgot part 26, which is labeled as part 28 over here. I don't want to throw away the sprue quite yet, because he's got these two tassels that hang down on either side of his face. One of which was already attached to his face, but the other needs to be put in right on the side there. And I believe it's supposed to be, yeah, kind of curling around to the back. So what we're going to do, get that glue back here. He really does not like sitting on that base. Okay, just a little on the side here where the gap is. It probably would have been a bit easier if I had done it earlier. But we missed it, or I missed it. No one to blame but myself on that one. Huh, what do you know? That fits in just fine. Much better than him on his base. Which is coming right on up again. Son of a... You know what? Let's... Okay. The heck with this. He's a little front heavy. So he's just going to keep trying to pull himself off of there. Oh, I'm actually digging the spikes underneath it into my fingers, trying to hold it in place. Yeah, it looks like Dr. Red's back. Alrighty. And with that, we finally have Ahriman constructed. So that's one figure down, 20 more to go from this set. Like I said, so I tossed it over into my garbage can. Not going to be doing all of them at once. In fact, I might stop with just him for today, since he's definitely the more... Definitely lots of content. I mean, it's the start collecting kit, so this is like if you're just getting into, if you like the army, this gives you plenty of material at a hell of a deal compared to buying all the different pieces individually. So if you're looking to play Thousand Suns, it gives you quite a bit to get started with. In fact, let's pop the box back on out. I think I am going to conclude with Ahriman here, but yeah, the rest of the... Oops, that was the cap for the glue. The... rest of the pieces, like the Rubric Marines, yeah, there are quite a few pieces to them, but they are quite a bit easier to put together. No, those are 2 pages long. I really may have bitten off a little more than I could chew with this one, but... Oh yeah, plus tons of interchangeable parts. But anyway, so what this kit contains... You got Ahriman himself, which is the dude I just put together. You've got some Zangors, and you've got some Rubric Marines. I believe 10 of each. Let's take a look at the front and just do a quick count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. So we got 10 Rubric Marines, which are the dudes in the armor here. And then 10 of the Zangors, which are these like weird, like goat demon-looking fellows. So, yeah, definitely not a bad way to get started. And another reason I picked these guys up is that they are, you know, magic-based as well as the technology, so that's always just cool. So on that note, I think I'm going to call it a day. Next week, we'll see what I end up doing. I'll probably do some more assembling, not quite getting back to the painting just yet. And I'll either start moving on to either the Rubric Marines or the Zangors, probably the Marines just because they're next in the book. Or if I, oh, thank you, Dr. Red. Or if I am able to get a hold of it early enough, I might have that Catan Shard of the Void Dragon for the Necron army, which I am really, like I said before, I'm really looking forward to. So, again, before I go, I am from ToyWiz. You can find us at 347 West Route 59 in Nanuet, New York. I'm actually presenting this from my bedroom, not from the store. And store is open Sundays through Thursdays from noon to 6 p.m., Fridays and Saturdays from noon till 8 p.m. If you pop on by today, October 17th, I know that Chris and Lewis are there, so go say, tell them I said hi. And I don't know which of our part-timers is going to be there with them, but tell them I said hi also. And that's about it. So I'll see you there soon. Follow us on social media, ToyWiz.com, Facebook.com/ToyWizCollectibles, Twitter.com/ToyWizStore, Instagram.com/ToyWizStore, or YouTube.com/ToyWiz. You can also find tons of action figures, comic books, and everything on our website, ToyWiz.com. So that's it. Stay safe out there. Pop on by the store, wear a mask, and I'll see you again next time. Take care now.